but you manage to lurch towards consciousness. It's your Optio, the second in command in your century. You are taken to see the Centurion, where you are given new, highly unusual orders. 4 days of even harder marching later, you arrive at Shadow Valley Fort. At least, that's what you've been told it's called. You've never heard of it. You've never noticed it on any of the maps you've seen. In fact, nobody you know has ever mentioned it at all. It's the land of the Brigantes tribe, a tribe loyal to Rome, and as peaceful as any in these parts. You have no idea why you were brought here. It's well after dark when you finally arrive. Guards come out quickly and bring you inside. You're shown to your quarters, a small comfortable building with 4 beds. During the time spent being guided here, not one word is said about the reason for it. Your rank is low, and you can see little reason other than general competency why you have been singled out. Before the guard returns to his post, he says, "Welcome to Shadow Valley Fort. Tomorrow you can speak with Commander Vibius. He will explain why you're here. Good night." That wasn't very helpful. Perhaps tomorrow things will be made clear. Arrival. So this is kind of the first chapter of the story, I suppose. We've got a nice little quote here. "Forget not, Roman, that it is your special genius to rule the people, to impose the ways of peace, to spare the defeated, and to crush those proud men who will not submit." Virgil, the Aeneid. I think that's a real thing, by the way. Virgil was a poet in Roman times. Now then, click mouse to continue. So I shall do so. There we go. Welcome to Nethergate. As you start to play, these windows will pop up to explain what to do. Move around by clicking on the terrain or using the keypad or arrow keys. I've tried using the keypad, but it's a little confusing, so I'm not going to bother. Your first mission is to leave your quarters and find your commander. First, someone has left a note for you on the table. Press the get button or type G to learn how to pick it up. So, here we are. We are stood in this little building here, which is our quarters. This is our little party of dudes. Chap with the purple cape is Rictus. The chap with the blue cape, I believe, is Scribius. Chap with that sort of greenish, pale greenish looking cape is Numius, and the bloke with the white cape who's not even carrying a shield, that'll be Kikoni. Now then, so we've got a little thing on the table here. The way you pick up a lot of items in this game is by using the get command, G. You can now pick up nearby items. Click on an item or the letter by it, or type the letter by it to pick it up. To select different character or get items, blah blah blah, etc, etc. I'll just explain this as I go along because it'll be a lot faster. Here we've got a piece of paper. Now, unfortunately, Rictus can't actually read it because we picked that rational thinking trait, which means you can't use magic items. And unfortunately, even just notes with a bit, paper with like a note on it counts as a magical item in this game. So he's not going to be able to use it. So I'm going to switch over to Kikonius, and he's going to pick up the piece of paper and he's going to read it. "Someone left a note for you while you slept. Welcome to Shadow Valley Fort. We're sure you're eager to get your orders and complete the task you were sent here to perform. Please go to headquarters to see Commander Vibius. He will tell you more. HQ is in the centre of the fort at the north end of the central courtyard. Also, be sure to look in the dresser in the supply room to the east. We've provided some extra equipment you may find useful. Signed, Praefectus Castrorum Decimus." Now that you have the note used, yes, I have already done it. Thank you. Okay, so we've got a little note there which explained that we've got where we need to go and where we can find some extra stuff. So right now I'm looking in the dresser. To do that, right click, which will bring up the look mode, and things you can look at are labelled with an A or B or whatever, a little letter on the thing. So we're going to look in the dresser and we can pick up some dried meat. In fact, I'll have Rictus pick this up. Some dried meat. Kikoni can take the healing draft, and you can take the first aid kits. We've also, everyone should have, well, most of us should have some javelins. I'm going to, instead of equipping them on each character, I'm going to give them all to Numius, because he's going to be able to use them far more accurately than the rest of us are. So he's now got 9 javelins, in addition to a short sword, his iron armor, and his wooden shield. which we pretty much all of us have, except for Kikonios, who has a toga. But we'll get him outfitted with some more suitable gear in a bit. Yes, this game, by the way, has a lot of reading to do. You can skip past it if you like. I'm not going to do the thing where I pause the video and tell people to read it if they want and skip it, because one, I've not read most of the stuff in this myself. A lot of this Let's Play is going to be read blind, beyond what I've already played in the demo for the game. And also, I just think that's a pain, personally. Sometimes, as silly as it sounds, when I'm watching a Let's Play, I can't be bothered to actually pause it and read it. So, we're just going to... I'm just going to go ahead and read this out to you guys. I will probably fluff it up because my diction's not very, very good, I'm afraid. But, there we go. We'll just have to put up with it. You step out of your quarters and see Shadow Valley Fort in the daylight for the first time. It's a nice fort. Stone buildings, new, well built. That's the problem. When you looked on the maps before you came here, Shadow Valley Fort was marked as a small outpost, tiny, barely even worth noticing. Now that you're here, however, you see a serious fortress, well built and maintained. Even more peculiar, however, is the silence. This is a tumultuous time in Britannia, what with the nearby rebellion and the large number of hostile barbarians. This fort should be a beehive of activity and preparation. Instead, the few soldiers you see about you seem apathetic, almost uninterested. No, that's not right. They look resigned. They act as if they have nothing to do with what's going on around them. That's not like a soldier of the mighty Roman Empire. Perhaps you should go find Vibius Valerius Rufus, the fort commander you were told to see upon arrival. He might be able to clarify what's going on. So, basically, the fort's a little bit fishy, but we kind of got that impression already, I think. We've got two buttons here. One here over here. This one says 1 OK. I'll just press OK and close it. We've got another button here, which is a book. I'm going to click on it. What that does is it records everything that was just in that box into our journal here, which will have a whole load of pages in. Basically, any kind of dialogue or text you come across in the game, you can click that and the game will automatically copy-paste it down into your journal, which I think is incredibly useful. Particularly helpful when you're given things like like directions to a certain place or details about a quest. So we've got a little plaque on the wall here. What does it read? It says the storeroom. So this is where some of the other stuff we could take was supposedly located. Even though this storeroom was recently built, it's already started to develop a layer of dust. These supplies have been waiting here untouched for a few months. You can't be sure if they were left here for you, but it's unlikely anyone would mind or even notice if you took a few things for yourself. How the hell are we supposed to tell that? But anyway, there might be something useful inside the boxes too. Just search inside a box, stand next to it, and look at it. Blah, blah, blah. We already know this. So we're going to go ahead and... oh, hello. As you walk towards the northeastern corner of the storeroom, you notice that the floor gets a little uneven. This is unusual for a Roman fort. They're usually more carefully built than this. It'll probably be fixed soon. I'm going to write that down. That... as far as I know, will not come back to, be of any relevance in the future again. It's my guess that that's probably something to do with the Celtic side of the story that we will not see for quite some time. You'll get a lot of things like that in this game, things that at the time do not seem to make a lot of sense, but eventually they will. Right, so we can take a few things in here. We can take some boots. We're going to give these to Scribius. We can take some javelins, we're going to give to Numius. And there should be a pair of dresses over here, stuff in we can take. Ah yes, we've got some herbs, which I will give to Kikonios. And a superior longsword. That's going to go straight to Rictus. I'm just going to equip that. Much better than the crap little short sword we had before. That's everything there is in here anyway, so I'm also going to click down here so we can open the auto map instead of the inventory screen. Since the world view itself on this is quite small, it's definitely helpful to have the auto map open as often as you can actually have it open. So yeah, as you can see, if we move off in this direction whenever I click, or if I hold down click, that's the direction we move in. So, we could go straight to the commander, but I'm not going to just yet. I'm going to have a bit of a poke around and explore. So this is a random person's room with nothing in it. Vibius keeps me here. This is a NPC. We can talk to them if we press the dialogue button down here and click on them. As this helpful little box now shows us, you are now talking to someone. Speaking to people is how you learn things, get quests, and buy things from shops. No kidding. Right, this guy apparently is Centurion Manicus. You've encountered one of your superiors. This Centurion turns to speak with you. He's short but built like a marble pillar, and a rough scar runs from his forehead to his chin. He's made no effort to disguise it. I am Centurion Manicus, at ease. His voice sounds like bits of gravel are scraping together in his throat. So, kind of sounds like... then. Whatever. Bit of an odd description that, but fine. Vibius told me to stay in here as long as I kept rambling about the Empire. What do you think about the Empire, then? When you ask about the Roman Empire, he spits into a pot on the floor and prepares to launch into a fresh tirade. Then you watch as a thought seems to work its way slowly through his head. He puzzles over it for a while and changes his mind about speaking. Got nothing to say about that. Nothing is wrong. You're a commander here, then? Yes, I'm in charge of one of the 3 sentries at this fort. He rasps. We're in charge of keeping this vale pacified. There are 3 sentries here? 3 sentries means about 300 soldiers. That's what we have here. Not much, but all we need. I have good men, weak and young, but enough for pacification. He practically spits out the last word. Our mission is to pacify the savages here? Officially, I suppose, to the extent that anyone remembers that this fort is here. What a waste. We are soldiers of the Roman Empire, the scourges of the earth, and we are spending the years chasing around barbarians and the worthless Brigantes. So, what do you think about the Brigantes? Savages. The Brigantes are good servants to the Empire, as they should be. That Cartimandua keeps them in line. But those rebels, that's a different matter. We should have slaughtered them 10 times over by now. Yes, that's what the Roman Empire has come to. Who is Cartimandua? Queen Cartimandua, he leers. She kisses what the Romans tell her to when they tell her, like a good savage should, he laughs. Queen Cartimandua, again, like other figures you'll see referenced in this, was a real person. She was a Celtic queen of the Brigantes tribe, which, again, were a real tribe. They were located up in northern England, I believe. Although, I could be wrong on that. My knowledge of ancient Iron Age Britain is a little rusty, to say the least. The last time I seriously sat down and learned anything about it was, in fact, in primary school. So everything else I remember comes from playing Rome Total War, essentially. So yes, if anyone is down in the comments right now correcting me on stuff, bear that in mind, why don't you? Okay, so what do you know about the rebellion, then? Territory lost, thousands of Romans dead, all because of a band of worthless Iceni. I wish I could take my century out there. We'd show that rabble a thing or two, but we're stuck here in this valley. Typical. We've got nothing else to ask him, so that's all for now, thanks. So yes, that's the first NPC we've met. Dialogue will be a bit like that from now on. I didn't write anything down in the journal since it wasn't really worth making a note of, and I don't want to clutter up the pages too much if I can help it. What have we got in here then? Not a lot. No items nearby apparently. But, this is a locked door. This door is locked. You can have your strongest character try to bash it down, which requires high strength, or have your most skilled character try to pick the lock, which requires tool use and a lockpick. Bashing a door down, I've never successfully managed to do it, I must admit, in this game. Basically, you attempt to bash the door down with whichever character in your party is strongest, and if you succeed, obviously the door opens. If you fail, you lose a health point. We can't pick the lock either because Scribiers are lockpick / spearmen. It's a bit of a strange class, isn't it, really? But you know, who cares? It's a bit like Skyrim, really. You don't pick a class, you just pick skills you want to use. Scribius doesn't actually have any lockpicks at the minute, so we can't really do anything with this door, so we'll leave it alone. Plus, it's in the fort, and we'd probably get in trouble for breaking into it. That's just the gatehouse.